Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students of Honors Platform, how you folks are doing? Today I will discuss on a very celebrated poem of Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, and my discussion will be divided into several parts, and initially I will go through the poem and later I will analyze the poem. And let me first go through the poem. The road not taken, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better plain, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had owned them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. And my dear students, you have listened to the poem, and this is a very spectacular poem, and the poem is about making a choice in life. That is the problem of making a choice when there are more than one choices in our life, and this is very important aspect in our life. And let me first give an introduction to the poem. The Road Not Taken was published in 1916 in the volume of poems entitled Mountain Interval. And the poem is acknowledged as one of the finest and most popular poems of Robert Frost. In the poem, we find a rare blend of inner lyric vision and the outer contemplative narration. The poet's creative faculty gets enlivened when he faces the problem of having to choose one of the two roads at a bifurcation or at a division. Here the poet takes the chance and comments on the difficulty and importance of having to make a choice. The problem of having to make a choice is one of the major themes in Robert Frost's poetry. And now I will move into the discussion part. And Robert Frost had chosen his own path. And my dear student, you know that he had chosen to be a poet, and to be a poet is not an easy choice to make. This is a very difficult choice to make for a person, because it was not he that chose his destiny. He was inevitably guided towards his destination by some spirit, some unseen forces that keep working on man. This inevitability, which apparently has an element of choice, is brought in this oft quoted and oft misunderstood poem, The Road Not Taken. In this poem, Frost tells us that he was traveling alone one day. He found himself to have reached a point where the road divided into two. Frost found it difficult to choose one road out of the two. He was indecisive and he was delaying for some time. Ultimately, he was able to choose one road, the road which he thought was frequented by fewer people, then that took to the other road. But the poet also realized immediately that there was no real difference, because his going through the road would have earned it about the same. Even at this critical moment of having to make a choice, the poet was aware of the importance of the choice in general as well as in particular. In general, the poet realizes that a person has very often to make choices. One cannot always have the best of everything. It is in making a choice that one has to order one's priorities and is tested. In particular, the poem has an intuition that one day he will look back in retrospect and perhaps be glad that he took the less frequented road. And this is what has made difference to the poet. And that has made all the difference. The poet's difference is a characteristic part of him and is in him, ingrained in him, even before he launched on his career as a poet. The road that Frost took was not only a different road, it was very lonely road. Very few people took to become a poet, but as destiny had it, it was the right road for Frost, the road he was bound to take. And let me now critically comment on this poem, The Road Not Taken. In The Road Not Taken, the problem of choice is very elementary. There are no obvious reasons for Frost preferring one road to the other. There are no residues of self-respect, moral obligation, not even curiosity in Frost's preference of the road he finally did take. In interviews, conversations and lectures, Frost always stresses that though the road he had taken had perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted to wear, though as for that the passing there had earned them really about the same. So we find that the poet's choice was logically incomprehensible or cannot be understood and appears wholly arbitrary, whimsical and undermined. But perhaps it was not without an intuitive impulse that it was motivated. And now regarding this poem, it can be said that simplicity, clarity, epigrammatic force and terseness are the hallmarks of the stanzas, each consisting of 5 lines. Each line has 8 syllables with slight variations here and there to impart informality and casualness of tone. It is a personal lyric and is devoid of the parentheses, the dashes and pauses and exclamations that are found in the dramatic lyrics. And the rhyme scheme of the poem is AB, AAB. And now let me speak about the concluding part of this poem. The Road Not Taken shows Frost's art and versatility, marching ahead on the road of progress. Ironically, it is the first person speaker himself who candidly presents himself to us with all his faults and failings. Very unself-consciously, he reveals himself to us as one who is like Hamlet, who is too intelligent and conscious to do anything without pondering on the pros and cons of it. But unlike Hamlet, he regrets the choices he makes. When he made his choice, he wistfully yearns for the alternative which he has been forced to reject. And he learns very painfully that man cannot have things all his own way. He is not only bound to make a choice, but also that the choice he makes is irrevocable. That cannot be altered. One must hope to get the best of everything. Man's vision encompasses manifold more than what he can get in his arms. Yes, one may always look heavenward and desire for the stars, but one must never forget that one has to walk on the earth and be practical, and one can never be impractical about the decisions he takes and about the decisions he make in his life. And this is a very wonderful poem, and I hope that you, my dear students, have understood what I have said. And with these few words, I would like to wrap up my discussion for today, and thank you very much, my dear students.